All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of the Sports Yak podcast. We're talking some NBA after Christmas. Even though like half the players are out because of COVID, we still wanted to cover some of the teams that we've been watching over this season and some of our favorite teams to watch. The teams that you should look out for, and just a good time to watch. Today we got two guests on here back from the Winspool podcast. Tim, how you doing, man?
Dude, I'm good. I just had a whirlwind of a day where I found out today that I'm off for the rest of the week. So today was my Friday. I had no idea. And then the other fun part is that I also had no idea that my University of Oklahoma Sooners were playing in a big time football game tonight. They got their bowl game and I kind of forgot about it. I knew about it, but it was like snuck up on me type deal. So I'm ready to go. I just had my Friday. I got football going on. The Thunder are about to play in an hour or two. So it's just going to be everything sports tonight, Yusuf. Let's get this sports talk out of the way. It's going to get me really amped up.
Yeah, it's awesome when somebody cancels. Like, used to be in school when your professor cancels class, and now it's when
It's like an
your
adult
boss
snow day.
cancels your work.
Yeah, like they said it, and it's like my bad. It's not like it just snuck up on me. I knew I had Friday off, but they said it like at the beginning of December, just in like a Slack channel, a whole announcement, and I just didn't read that, so my bad. But yeah, it was a great surprise whenever one of my coworkers was just like, "Man, got a lot to get done today since today's Friday." I was like, "Wait, are you messing with me?"
The other voice you heard was DJ. How's it going, man?
Yo, it's going well. Speaking of bowl games, Gophers just absolutely dummied the West Virginia Mountaineers. Go Ghosts last night. Although hilariously, it's a 9:30 kickoff, like for us local time. So I passed out in the fourth quarter. We're up with two scores. So I wasn't concerned about it. And then suddenly I wake up, my roommate that was watching with me, he's not there anymore. It's like 12:45, like looking around. It's already in like Sports Center after dark type of mode. So way to go with the Ghosts, but I might be joining Tim and watching a little bit of the bowl game tonight. We don't have much on the docket besides some sweet college football the next couple of days that I am going to be enjoying outside of watching our typical NBA here.
Yeah, there's some weird bowl times. There was a couple of days ago, I think Sunday or Monday, there was one like at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty wild. Just woke up and there's college football, and I was like, all right, sounds good to me.
I guess I'll do this. Like, yeah.
Yeah. Like I said, we're going to some of our favorite teams to watch this season. We're just going to do like a top four, I guess, in honor of the playoffs, maybe. But we'll start with DJ. What's your number one league pass team this year?
Well, number one's the Timberwolves, and it's not just because I'm a homer, but because also we're actually fun this year. We're not super trash. Yeah, I think that we're 16-18, just a couple games under 500. I mean, holy cow. Yep. The Ant-Man has had a couple of crazy games, and my
fun.
family, we watched the entirety of the Wolves-Miami Heat game when we were in Hawaii for Thanksgiving. And like when that dunk went off, I saw the back cut because I'm like, this dude's pressing him like way up here. I saw the back cut. I saw the guy sneaking in there. I just go dunk on him like very calmly. And then the next thing I'm just screaming my head off because it was possibly the best dunk. Definitely the best dunk I've ever seen live. I mean, again,
charge,
right?
It's
been well litigated. It's been well litigated. Of course, it was not a charge. He was moving in under him, and not only because that, but I would love that rule to be changed. So my number one team, not just because I'm a homer, but because D'Angelo Russell, Cat, and Anthony, besides these couple like weeks here where there's been the COVID cases, have been balling together. And that win against the Celtics when it's like Nathan Knight and I think Beasley had a big game and maybe Jaden McDaniels. It's just the hometown boys are not only looking good, but if they start showing up to the Pro-Am like Jalen Noel and Josh Okogie did this next summer, I mean, those are going to be my guys for life right there.
That's the quickest way to DJ's heart is a Pro-Am.
Just show up and you're going to be my guy. I mean, shout out to Monte Morris for pulling up a couple of years ago. Like trying to think of some of the other NBA dudes we've had in there. There's been a couple of them, but that's the number one.
I think I had them in my top five, but I had a feeling that you were going to pick them, so I left them out. But yeah, when especially when Cat and Ant play, it's just fun to watch. They're probably two of the best young players in the league, so as expected.
Is Cat still young?
He's 25. He's younger than me. So I mean, mid-20s, firmly mid-20s.
I just didn't know what's the like cutoff of being a
Tim,
young
are you
guy
young?
still. No, no, I'm not young. Why'd you have to ask me that? You said,
I'm 26. I still consider myself young.
bro, I'm not gonna tell you how. I'll tell you, I'm 32 for like a week. Next week, actually, I'm a week away from being 33 to the day.
Nice.
So yeah, I'm old, bro. You cross that 30, you're old, especially in the NBA world.
Yeah, you got that. It's like that contract, that age where you debate whether you give them a contract or not.
I'm about to be
Oh,
on
yeah,
the vet minimum, bro. But at least I'm 10 years deep, so it's at least maxed on the scale.
Who's your number one?
Who's my number
You're not
one?
allowed to. Are you allowed to say OKC?
Well, first off, that's the number one team that I watch on League Pass. So yeah, I don't know in what world you're gonna stop me from saying OKC's my number one. But just like DJ, it's not because I'm a homer, or it is, but they're also fun though. I know that they're not
They are.
last,
They
but they're
absolutely
bottom
are.
5. They're right now sitting at 12 and 21, and they just lost their previous game, but they were on a stretch where they had won 5 out of 6. So I guess we're 5 out of 7. That's still pretty good, right?
Yeah.
5
Is
and
Sleeper for
that
the
5.
after
play-in
the
game.
10-game losing streak?
Well, it's been an interesting season because it just kind of depends on who's playing for us. Honestly, we don't have much depth, especially Shea's pretty good. Okay, I'm not going to lie to you. Shea is probably a top 25 player in the league. I would say maybe top 20. We don't need to run down the list. Maybe another podcast we can do that. But he's a really good player. I'm not saying that he's going to lead us single-handedly to playoffs. Obviously not. But he's missed some time. The COVID's obviously knocked guys out left or right. But if we don't have him, it's almost a guaranteed loss. And then Josh Giddey, our rookie, he is so fun, man. He can't score really, but he can make amazing passes. He's been so close to some triple doubles, but the thing that he never gets is the points.
Yeah, I
But
saw that he had like 10 assists, 10 rebounds, but 0
the
points.
yeah, he had one where he had 8 points in like the third quarter. He already had the rebounds and the assist, and he just didn't get a bucket for like the entire fourth. It was like, dude, just go lay it up, please. Somebody tell this kid. But and fun fact, he would be the youngest player. I think he has to like halfway through the season to be the youngest player ever to have a triple double. I think I might have said that last pod too. But anyways, I'm gonna keep saying it. Make sure everyone knows. But yeah, he's fun. Dort's fun. I'm telling you, they're a fun team. They compete. A lot of their games are right on schedule, where what they do is they compete. They maybe get down a little bit early, but then they'll push back, make it competitive, and then the final 5 minutes they lose. And that's exactly what I want to see every game. But we've been winning too many recently, so hopefully we chill out on that. But honestly, there's some fun players on this team, man. Pokusevsky, I don't know, Poku. He's can make some exciting plays, mostly on the defensive side, dude. He'll block anything with those long arms. Same thing with Beasley, dude. He's a block machine. Dort is amazing defensively. We love our defense in Oklahoma. That's how we do it. And then we have some guys offensively like Shea. That's basically it. But they're fun. I'm telling you, man. You really could watch some games and you would enjoy it. And so, yeah, they're going to be my number one. I had to go with that.
I've definitely probably seen the best of them when I think they beat the Lakers 2 out of 3 times.
Yeah.
So, and their crowd always brings it. Like they always have a good home energy. And yeah, like I said, they're only 2 games out of the play-in. So
Hey,
they're a sleeper.
Yeah, they're not that far back after the little run that they just made. I mean, that's why I say we need to chill out on it.
But yeah, they probably look better than Houston, obviously, besides their win streak. And I think Detroit and Orlando are probably the worst teams right now. They've definitely looked better than them. But my number one team is the Chicago Bulls.
Yeah,
they've been
Good
really
pick.
fun to watch. Even DeRozan somehow making like a renaissance, I guess, of his career after like being in no man's land with the Spurs. He's having a really good year. And then obviously Zach LaVine is always there. He's probably been one of my favorite players always, especially when he was in Minnesota, and then obviously when he went to Chicago. I'm sure DJ was sad to see him go at such a young age. So,
absolutely. I mean, even during the actual trade, I mean, I guess it's still a little bit early. It's like when we gave up LaVine because I think it was like a year after he had torn his ACL that we traded him. So he hadn't quite like exploded back yet. But before he had, because I think he tore his ACL in like his 3rd year. I mean, he was really going off where it was like, wait a second, is he the better one in the draft between him and Wiggins? And of course now I think most everyone would take him over Wiggins. But those guys, Lonzo Caruso, I mean, it's just a sweet brand of basketball in Chicago right now.
Yeah, it's fun to watch. Obviously, the United Center always brings it also. And then, like you said, Lonzo. And then I even like their rookie, Ayo Dosunmu from Illinois. He's fun guard to watch. So,
yeah, they're the 2 seed right now.
Yeah.
So, yeah, good for the Bulls. Good for them to bring it back. I don't know if they can really do much in the playoffs. Maybe. But they're playing a fun brand of basketball for sure.
Yeah, I mean, if you have 2 closers like Levine and DeRozan, and they play a solid defense, and I have a soft spot for Vucevic also as a former Magic player.
Yeah,
he's finally getting some love in Chicago. So yeah, I hope they do well. Hopefully make it to the second round and make some noise in the playoffs. We'll go back to DJ. What's your second team?
Yeah, my number 2 is actually the squad that I nearly took with my first pick in the wins pool draft, and that would be the Utah Jazz, which LeBron, you're right, we don't play with them in 2K, but watching them this year and seeing Donovan Mitchell especially, it's just too much fun. I mean, he torched us on what was it? It was like last Thursday, I think, that we played them at home. Fortunately, we had Cat out for that game, but he just went off on us, let us have it. He was scoring huge buckets whenever it felt like we were making a comeback and getting back in the game. He shut the door. I know in the month of December, I think he's going off for like 30 points a game or something. He's getting up like 10 threes. So Donovan Mitchell leading the way with the Utah Jazz. It's my number 2 team. And he's just going to that another level where I'm really hoping kind of in like the All-Star game, and especially with the new format, we kind of get him closing it out because he's seeming to take that next leap up where he's going to be, in the All NBA discussion, maybe even, first or second team.
Yeah, people always hate on them in in the playoffs, especially Rudy Gobert. But there's nothing wrong with enjoying a regular season team. Especially if you're not like a diehard fan of Utah, you can just enjoy some regular season basketball. They play fun basketball with Mitchell and Conley and Bogdanovich and Gobert, all those guys. And then Tim, what's your number 2?
And I joked whenever we threw out this is the idea, just for all the listeners. Yusuf told us that we were going to be talking about our top league pass teams, and I threw out the Dave Chappelle, who's your top 5 rappers of all time, Dylon. I said I was going to do that with the Thunder. I'm not going to do that, obviously, but I thought about taking another oddball team because I do watch a lot of weird games. I wouldn't say that I necessarily have one that I'm like, oh, I got to watch that team. What I'll do is I go to NBA.com and I just look, I'm like, who is what game is most likely to play into the tank or some other thing? And I pick that. But if I have to pick a team that I just enjoy watching their games, if there's no tank wars on that I can tune into, then I'm going to take Golden State because, man, Steph Curry, that's it. That's all I'm going to say. You watch him, man, that's such beautiful basketball. So
it's incredible what they did with like Jordan Poole, Gary Payton. Obviously,
they got
Draymond
a lot of fun
Green.
players outside of stuff too. Gary Payton's throwing down some monster dunks, man, and Moses Moody's been looking good as a young guy. Kuminga has had moments, but maybe not consistently getting it done, but flashes. So you're excited about that, and obviously excited for them to get Clay back and just really unlock that beast. Talked about Andrew Wiggins a second ago, and Zach LaVine being better than him. I don't know, man. Have you seen Wiggins was knocking down threes the other day, dude? Like he's kind of come along a little bit. I think that
he's all right.
I think being out there under Steve Kerr and not having to be in the spotlight and that especially this year with them winning and that, I think that maybe is taking a little bit off of him and maybe he's playing a little bit more free. I don't know, just a guess, but yeah, I used to hate Golden State because they stole Kevin Durant, but now that we're removed far enough from that, I can let that hate just simmer down and yeah, so I'll go Golden State number 2. Yeah, and actually that might be the most surprising pick. I feel. I don't know. I feel like just with the amount of animosity I had towards the Kevin Durant situation, I can't believe I said Golden State, but hey, here we are, 2020, almost 2022, 2021, 2022, man. These years
come much 2020?
Fast. Yeah, dude, I had to count it back for a second. I don't even know where I'm at.
But yeah, the Warriors are back to like the 2015 Warriors when They're just moving the ball around and like not much ISO, a lot of 4-on-3 from the pick and roll traps and all that.
Mhm.
So a lot of those players are exceeding in their roles, and it'll definitely be fun to see when Clay comes back.
Oh yeah, because I mean, Curry obviously always demands so much attention anywhere he's at on that side of half court because of his range. But you know, we all know what Clay can do. He's the second best 3-point shooter of all time, arguably. And yeah, once they get him back, you know, that's going to just make Curry even better. So it's like, look out, man. They're going to be fun, and they're my pick to win one. So let's get them one more championship, and then that'll be enough for Steph. We don't need any more.
I was having this discussion with a couple friends, but like I feel like that record that he broke, I feel like 10 more guys are gonna break that.
No, dude, no. I don't think so. It's gonna be a while. Just if like
You
you
don't
look
think
at
so?
it, if you look at it statistically, I mean, I know he had like some years where he missed some games early on, but like the volume that he puts up, and like if you crunch the numbers, you gotta like nobody even would be on pace like in their first 3 years. I don't think of anybody that's come in the league like recently. I don't think anyone's even really close. I saw some tweet about it, and it was like talking about how that's going to stand for probably 20 or 30 years. Like it's going to
But
take like,
I mean, he broke it like I think he's like 33, maybe 34.
yeah, because he's not
So
done
still has a
either.
couple more years, yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, it'll eventually be broken because somebody will, but I mean, just think about like nobody's ever really like consistently made those shots from those lengths while being guarded like that. I mean, and so you're going to have another shooter that's going to come on and be
You got
great. But
Anthony
like,
Edwards shooting like 10 threes sometimes.
Let's
yeah,
go ahead.
but like once if he's knocking down those shots, and you know, like the defense is going to step up and play more intensely on those, you know, like so if somebody gets as prolific as he is, like they have to be so good because of he has no airspace ever, you know what I mean? Like I don't know, I just don't see it happening personally.
I gotta look at the numbers, but I feel like Clay is not gotta be not that far, and maybe Damian Lillard, something like that.
Just go look at the number of like seasons that you've had people make over 300 threes in a season, and I think Steph has made threes in the season. I think he has like the top 8 or 5. I think he has maybe like 5 or 6 of the top 10 seasons of number of threes made.
He had like a 400 one, I think.
Yeah. So I mean, it's insane.
I guess we can agree that he's definitely gonna beat the record by like probably like 1,000.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, he's probably got at least another 1,000 made threes in him, unless something just happens disastrously with an injury or something. But you got to imagine he's playing probably 3 more years, at least 4 more years, right?
Yeah,
3?
probably.
Yeah. Anyways,
Even if he wants to come off the bench, like at the end of his career, he could easily just be like a run around Mike Miller type. I'm not sorry, Mike Miller. What was his name? Kyle Korver or something like that.
yeah, I mean,
Little
think
Ray
about
Allen in Miami.
Yeah,
yeah, shooters like his game's going to age well too. It's not like it's not like he's Russell Westbrook over here that using all his athleticism to get to the rim. Like he's athletic. I'm not trying to like downplay that, but yeah, the dude's a shooter. That ages. You're never going to lose that.
and I'm sure DJ's glad that he took them in the wins pool with his second
Oh
pick.
yeah,
Actually,
baby. I know. On that one, I got lucky that they dropped. I think it was like 9 by the time I picked them
Yeah,
up.
I was really hoping they're getting to me.
Oh yeah, and I was all over them. So that's been like the only thing keeping me in it, because the Knicks have been just absolutely terrible for me. But hopefully we can get a little hot in the second half of the season and chase you down. I think you might have me by a couple of games if I'm not wrong, Yusuf.
yeah, it's pretty much. I mean, Cleveland. Obviously, I think I took them like 23rd or 24th. They were my last pick.
You
And,
took them at 27. I have it up right now.
27.
And
Okay.
one before me getting the Spurs, and I was about to take the Cavs there. I mean, coulda, shoulda, woulda, but that was a beautiful pick.
That was
and
after I took the Thunder, right?
Shout outs to you picking the Thunder and Kyle picking the Kings and the Rockets. The 3 picks before Cleveland were Kings, Rockets, and then Thunder. Oh man, but you had to, Tim.
Yeah, you I had to. It is what it is.
Yeah.
There. Yeah.
Them's the rules.
Yeah. Can't not pick my team, man. The Rockets was a bad pick, though. That was embarrassing.
We can't be too good, pal.
I said,
He's
what?
not here to defend himself.
I'm sure he'd say the same thing.
Yeah.
I think he blanked out for a second.
Yusuf, who do you got number 2? Who you got number 2?
I think I have Cleveland.
Okay.
Yeah.
Darius Garland should probably be an all-star this season. Yeah.
How much better would they be if they had Colin Sexton?
Yeah, it's interesting, but now, unfortunately, Ricky Rubio, I think he just tore his ACL. So
yeah,
Rubio did.
I
missed that. Wow, was that today?
I think it was just this morning. Yeah.
Wow.
So yeah, I mean, now of course, it's even a bigger loss without Sexton either. So I'm not sure who they'll be starting now.
That's a bummer.
Point guard, but yeah.
Because they've been playing. I call it tall ball.
Yeah, with Allen and Mobley, and Marketing actually.
And Marketing.
Yeah, I love that though. That's just so much fun to throw out all that size there. Just kind of overwhelm. I mean, they're just overwhelming them with
do we think
that length and athleticism sometimes
that Mobley's actually going to be like an all-star type player? What do we think of him? Or because I mean, he's kind of like, to me, he's interesting, obviously, and he was interesting coming out of the draft, but he's kind of like still maybe Kristaps Porzingis or something similar to that, where he's kind of this like tall, skilled guy that's a little skinny and he's good, but is he ever going to really like dominate? I don't know. I mean, I guess defensively he could have a big impact, but I don't know. What are your thoughts on him?
I mean, I like him as like a second or third option. I mean, he's pretty smooth on the ball, like defensively and offensively. So, I mean, obviously he just has to keep, working on his game. Nobody's gonna like give it to him in the post that often, like one-on-one.
I guess my question though is like that type of player, do you think that type of player could be somebody that you can run your offense through, like a tall, like kind of skinny, skilled player? I mean, I guess it's kind of Kevin Durant a little bit, but Kevin Durant is like way more of a guard than he is a big man. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't think that you're going to have Mobley and essentially initiating as much offense as a KD, doing that style. So,
but could he be your centerpiece, kind of like I know you said you like him as number 2 or number 3. You're saying you don't think he has the potential to be the number 1 on a playoff team?
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of similar, I think, to Garnett obviously was a much better option, even as a number 1. Mm-hmm. But even then, I don't think he got out of the first round of the playoffs by himself until he got to Boston.
Correct, yeah.
Sorry about that, DJ.
Hey. Are we forgetting about 2004 when if Sam Cassell doesn't do the big ball dance when we crushed Sacramento in Game 7? We were winning the championship if he didn't get hurt. So let's not forget this. We made it once with KG out of the first round. I think we were 1 trip to the conference finals, 6 trips to the first round. So
I mean, yeah, that would be. I mean, obviously that's a peak career for Mobley, but yeah, I mean, if he develops a mid-range jumper, which he sort of has already, I guess I don't know if like the elbow players, do they exist anymore? I don't know. Like, there's not really like an elbow player that you think of that much, except for like maybe Jokic, but he has the passing, which makes him a unique player.
Yeah. No, I mean, I don't know. Interestingly enough, talking about that elbow player with some good passing, do they ever play Kevin Love?
Yeah, they do actually. He comes off the bench, spreads the floor a little bit when they need to. Yeah, he played 30 minutes in the game the other day. Obviously, I think like Taco was starting the other day, so there's multiple people out with COVID. So
nice. Oh yeah. I guess that's true. COVID, anyone can play. Yeah. No, yeah, I mean, you're right. There's not that many guys. I mean, Kevin Love was kind of that guy for a while. You put him in the elbow and he could score from that elbow position and he could pass and kind of initiate some offense. I mean, but not that he was ever the leader of any kind of great team with the Wolves. Man, I'm sorry, DJ.
Hey, there's a lot of poor Wolves history. So I have a fun team this year and I'm not going to try to defend. Kevin Love had one really good year, I think it was, when we were like about 500 or so, but
yeah,
I mean, there's a couple of moments where it's just like, what is this? When he's getting 30 at 30, I think once or twice he did that. I think it was just once, but
I was at some Timberwolves Thunder game way back in the day, and it went to like double OT, dude. It was an amazing game, and I think Kevin Love had like 50 something points in it, dude. It was crazy. I think the Timberwolves actually won the game, if I remember right. But it was like multiple
game winner in that game. I'm not
sure.
I
think it was a game winner. I think that there was like a shot to like at the end of regulation to send it to overtime. Like, I can't remember. There was like multiple like shots and things that were just like, oh my god. Oh, I'm just hitting my microphone. Sorry.
I might be thinking
Just,
of the Anthony Davis one where he had to like double clutch and he still made it
oh
against the
yeah,
Thunder.
that was the last game
That
of the
was
season
crazy.
that eliminated the Thunder from the playoffs. It was the last game of the year. That was, yeah. Anyways, we can go down Thunder Lane with me too and relive all the terrible, painful moments.
But yeah, I mean, like you said, like Davis, he kind of operates out of the elbow sometimes, but I guess
Yeah.
Mobley would have to develop his playmaking. Like obviously doubles are going to come in that position, and the ball doesn't even get to that position anymore that much.
Yeah.
But I feel like Jared Allen is underrated. I mean, he might be getting his due this year with an all-star pick, but I feel like he's just a dependable center that gets you like 20 and 10, 18 and 10, something like that. A few blocks. Just protects the paint, and you trust him like guarding the other team's big guys. But yeah, that's my top two. I had Chicago and Cleveland third. What you got, DJ?
All right, so my third team, I always like a team where they have a bunch of decent guys. No one that's just an absolute stud. So you're never quite sure, who's going to be your leading scorer. They just have a bunch of guys that can do that. I'm going to give you both a hint. They have 5 guys in between 19.7 points a game and 16.5 points a game. And when I've been watching them the last few times, they've had a different leading score, it seems, every game. Do you know which team? Toronto's the guess. Yusuf, what's your guess?
Between 16 and 19, all 5 starters?
Yeah, well, I don't know if they don't have them starting every time, but just their leading scorers are tied at 19.7. And then their 5th guy's at 16.5. And then, like I said, the past few games, it's just seemingly a different leading scorer every time. So can you name that squad?
I'm thinking of maybe Charlotte.
It is the Charlotte Hornets.
Oh.
Airbnb. You got Scary Terry and Kelly Oubre still balling out there. Gordon Hayward went off against San Antonio a little bit ago. And I even caught the end of their game against Sacramento when Book Knight was their leading scorer. And I was like, oh, is he going to be decent now too? So for me, my third team is Charlotte. That, it's just you're not quite sure what you're going to get with them night in and night out, but they can do it in a lot of different ways. And that's one of the things that I think is fun, and that just the young talent too to go with it. They have a nice little mix of the young dudes, kind of the vets on their second deals, and then obviously Gordon Hayward's kind of their journeyman.
I saw he had 40 the other day when he's averaging like
that was the Spurs game.
14,
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Maybe that's what drew it up. He's right in the middle. He's at 17 points a game. I just pulled up their stats because I was like, I feel like they've got just a good spread there. So yeah, Charlotte Hornets are the third team for me.
Yeah, it was fun watching them in person. LaMelo was throwing up some love to Bridges. I saw them play the Magic a couple weeks ago. And then randomly, like Kelly Oubre decides to take over, and then Terry Rozier decides to take over. But yeah, I mean, they're just a fun squad. They got PJ Washington as well, who's developing into a nice player. So they got some. I mean, they have a lot of wings actually that can play. So there was a solid team.
Gordon Hayward led him in scoring a couple nights ago. Had a big game for him too. So
yeah,
that guy, man, kind of feel a little bad for him after the injury and kind of how everything just went south in Boston for him. So, good to see him back. Man, I just realized that this still says on my girlfriend's name.
Oh, I know. I noticed it right when we logged in. I was like, oh, do we have a surprise guest?
Every time, man. Every time. Anyways, man, I should have known that too, DJ, that would be your pick. Because I was trying to think of like, who are your guys? Because you have and I was like, it's not going to be, I kept looking at Sacramento. I was like, he's not picking Sacramento because they're not very good this year.
No, they're
I was
trash.
thinking
They're
Fox because you love
now.
Fox, but I should have known LaMelo. That I should have known. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
So Yusuf got
again,
it.
The people who are saying that we should have picked LaMelo instead of Anthony Edwards, I don't know if anyone's saying that anymore. That was kind of a common first half of last year kind of narrative, and I was having none of it from the beginning, and now I feel that much better about it because he's just been going crazy. But
they're both good though. I mean, it's not like you would be
bad I think that they're both in really good places. It's one of those both fan bases are really happy with who they ended up with.
I think that honestly, like Anthony Edwards is a much better fit for y'all for what you need, being like a kind of that alpha, like he's even said some quotes about like oh, if they're not going to go get it, I'm gonna go get it, and I love that like approach.
Yeah, he had
And
the
so
best post game comments.
yeah. Oh well, okay. Hang on, but yeah, his post game comments are pretty good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think that's really for that team and where they were at with their talent and kind of being stuck in that spot that you've been at. I think that's important for them. And then I think LaMelo on the other side, not to say that he's not that alpha dog or whatever, but he's maybe not going to like say the things that Anthony Edwards does or even necessarily do the things. But I think he's a little bit more like razzle dazzle fun and can get a team like a fan base excited from a different angle. And I think they kind of needed that in Charlotte too, just because, they haven't really had those like throwing those oops up, the passes, the style, the flair, like, yeah.
Oh, he gets their announcer excited. Have you heard that guy?
No, I haven't.
You gotta look up some of the I guess highlights from like the Charlotte feed. Like their announcer goes crazy.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Yeah, that's make or break is good announcer.
Yeah, it's always weird when you get a like announcer from the home team is just like very biased, but Charlotte's like biased in a good way.
Not gonna lie, so Golden State is I actually hate their announcers for their like home broadcasts. I normally, even though I'll watch their games, I'll watch the away broadcast because they're super biased and they're just kind of like honestly rude to the other team.
Oh wow.
So anyways, like we know we're better than you, so
yeah, there's kind of like an air of like snobbiness for sure, which I guess is maybe fitting for San Francisco Bay Area. Like what's the South Park episode with like smugness?
The smug is the smog. Yep, absolutely.
yeah, it's kind of like that, but it's sometimes I'll like click into that feed and that's what we'll be playing, and after a couple minutes I'm like, I gotta change this, man. I gotta go to the other feed.
Light years ahead is just like around their building. So.
Exactly. So anyways, wait, is it me next?
Yes, it is.
Okay, so number 3. So number 3, and they're disappointing me, to be honest with you, but I'm still gonna stick with them. I'm ride or die because it's my boy Trey, the Atlanta Hawks, baby. They're still fun to watch. Trey's fun. They got a lot of fun players. They've been struggling. They just haven't had the cohesiveness and whatever. But I still just like watching him play and that style. It's kind of the same thing you're talking about with LaMelo, where you don't know what he's doing with the ball. You don't know where he's going with the pass, but he's kind of orchestrating things and he's exciting. And the rest of their team's exciting too. So I hope they piece it together and get me some more wins for the win pool. But yeah, that's who I'm taking. Number 3 is the Hawks.
Yeah, nobody's going to want to play them in their playing game, or if they make it higher, like nobody's going to want to play them in the first round.
Yeah, I mean, there's a long way to go still. So, and they're not, there's a whole jumbled mess in there. And it's really interesting this year too, with just like, it depends on if you have that COVID outbreak, you better hope that you're playing it over a stretch of games that you were supposed to lose anyways. You know what I mean? So that can really, like, the way, especially with the way that teams have been, playing all backups or this or that, it can kind of change how the playoffs are looking. And so it'll be a question for them of like, if they can be healthy and have everybody in gel. I think that they'll figure it out because I think there's just too much talent there to not overcome. But who knows? Either way, they're fun. So I tune in.
They had Lance Stevenson out there, man.
Yeah, it's tough. Former Thunder legend. Wait, not Lance Stevenson. That's Lance Thomas. Wrong guy. Yeah. Sorry. Another obscure player. Lance Stevenson, not quite as obscure.
Lance Thomas. I haven't heard that name in like 10 years.
Dude, he was actually pretty good randomly. He started for the Knicks for a little while too, for like half a
season. I was gonna say, was he on that team with like, was it Steve Novak that just went crazy and
like Landry Fields or something?
So
it sounds like it.
It might have been a little. That might have been a little before he got there, but I feel it would have been right around there. Anyways, we don't need to go down that rabbit hole, but yeah, that's the Hawks, man. Wasn't Steve Novak on the Hawks for a little bit before he was on the Knicks? Anyways,
could have been. Way more Steve Novak talk than I was ready for tonight.
Yeah. Absolutely. I wasn't prepped.
Yeah, I feel like those 5 guys are back that they had in like 2015. Joe Johnson.
Yeah.
But Joe Johnson is back.
Yeah.
No, it's
I'm just waiting for Josh Smith to get the call up.
Oh my God.
What he's doing.
Josh Smith was one of my favorite fantasy players to have because he would put up some.
Couldn't
monster
he play
games.
like 5 positions or something? I feel like Josh Smith was listed as like shooting guard, small forward, power forward.
Whatever he wanted to
You can
play
put him
that
anywhere
day,
in the
he was going to
lineup.
do that, but he might not do anything else. Like he was a total wild card. And then the Pistons gave him like a ton of money, and that was a terrible mistake. But anyways,
Yeah, just a little one.
Yusuf, who you got
Just
number
looking at
3?
his fantasy stats.
Oh yeah, dude. Yeah, I tell you, I had him on a lot of teams, and he treated me well. I was a Josh Smith fan. He was a utility guy. Blocks, steals,
Yeah, he
rebounds,
was a
assists.
stat sheet stuffer.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
third
also
team. I think I
maybe wasn't
had
going to get you
Memphis
too many
actually.
wins. Oh, Memphis is your third team?
Yeah,
Oh, I
Oh,
was
good
thinking about
pick.
them.
Is Ja back now? Because he's
yeah. He
out for a
just
little
came
bit,
back.
right?
Did
Just
he?
came back a couple days ago. Had a
Let's
game
go,
winner
Ja.
against the Suns. There's a stat that they put out that the Grizzlies are the only team to beat the Warriors and the Suns, which is like
Hmm.
pretty random. But I mean, it shows that they can play with anybody. I mean, even they had a guy named Desmond Bain. He's been going off the last couple games.
Oh, dude, he's been having a great year. He might be most improved player for sure. He's fun.
Yeah, I mean, I think he was their leading scorer while Ja was out, and then once Ja came back, they stuck with him in the backcourt. And I think Dylan Brooks has been out, but he's been fun to watch as well.
Mhm.
And then Jaren Jackson Jr. always puts up stats, crazy stats as well. So
Slow mo still there, right?
yeah,
Okay. Yeah, I love slow mo. Kyle Anderson, he gives me hope.
there was a 3-pointer at the end of the game against the Suns. It was just so he was wide open in the corner by the time like he brought the ball into his shooting motion. Like the
It
defender was
buzzed.
already there. Yeah.
Oh.
Already rotated.
Yeah,
And they got
you
your boy Steven Adams as well,
oh yeah, I love Steve O.
always putting work. So
Yeah, Steve O's man,
yeah,
he's the ultimate glue guy, and he's another one of those greatest post game quotes, man. He's maybe not as like brash as Anthony Edwards, but he'll just say some ridiculously funny things.
but yeah, that was my third team, I think.
Solid.
DJ, your last team.
All right, yeah, my last team, it is the Brooklyn Nets. I mean, mostly from Durant, just continuing to do Durant stuff. But especially now that Kyrie is starting to ramp up, get back in the fold. Harden, is he still out of shape? Is he not out of shape? Doesn't really matter because he's still putting up stats. I got to go with the Brooklyn Nets. I find myself watching them, at least up there with these other squads here, if not even more so. So kind of more of my class, or more of the basic pick there than one of my classic DJ squads. But Brooklyn is a team I can't quit.
I'd say you took some chalk finally. I was the only one to take like one of these best teams so far. I mean, I guess you took Utah too. So yeah, actually, you're all chalk.
A little bit, yeah. The Wolves, just Western Conference stalwart right there, about to succeed. What up? But yeah, the Nets there. I mean, it's kind of funny. Like obviously with Irving, basically with Irving not playing at all yet this year, and then Durant and Harden having just a few things off the court, with Durant not having to miss a few games, or Harden having a bit of a weird ramp up. It's kind of funny that they're still just quietly number one in the East, 23-9.
So let me ask you this: are we? Do you think what's the likelihood that we're looking at a Brooklyn? And I know obviously tons of things could happen, but Brooklyn, Golden State, and the championship seems pretty likely, right? You guys, there's two favorites from each conference.
I mean, Vegas has both of those leading on the odds there. So I mean, that would be a wonderful matchup.
That would, and think how fun that would be with Kevin Durant, returning into Golden State. And I'm the biggest Golden State Warrior fan ever. If that happens, bro, let's go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Draymond back yelling in KD's face as well.
Yes. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, and either way to look at it though, like I'm really pumped for once we start getting into the stretch run, jogging for some playoff positioning or playoffs themselves. Just seems like on both sides of the aisle, like there's just some really fun teams here, both at the top of the conferences, as well as just depth wise. I mean, to have Golden State back in the fold is pretty sweet. Brooklyn's going to be, just as strong, if not stronger than they were last year. Milwaukee's still a stud. So like it's seeming to like it could, hopefully the stars aren't hurt. It could be one of the best playoffs we've seen in terms of, just depth of talent playing.
One team in the East is definitely going to be pissed that they didn't make it. Like right now, Atlanta's not in, but obviously, like either New York or Washington or I guess Boston even.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They'd all be like,
start the
I could see a
rebuild.
big shakeup in Boston if they don't make it.
Start the rebuild.
Yo.
They failed, man. What a failure, honestly. Drop the ball. That treasure chest.
Yeah, I mean, to have Jaylen Brown and
Hate to
Jason
see
Tatum on rookie deals with Kyrie, Gordon Hayward, and Horford, and they probably still had the 8th pick that became Colin Sexton
Yeah.
at the time, and now they basically have
Well, not with Kyrie.
none
That
of
was
it.
that was part of the Kyrie trade, but yeah.
Oh yes, you're right.
But
He did
anyways.
swap it for Kyrie,
But nevertheless, I mean, yeah, they whatever. We don't need to harp on that. That was one of our teams.
I mean, Brooklyn, yeah. I mean, James Harden is coming into his own finally, back in All-Star form. So him and KD at his peak. Even if Kyrie, I mean, hopefully he gets vaccinated, gets like, you know, just the team more fun to watch. But even then, going at it, just Durant and Harden is gonna be fun. Even Patty Mills goes off for like 30 points once in a while.
Yeah, Patty had
on
a huge
Christmas he was
game.
ripping up the Lakers.
Right now on League Pass, the Hawks are playing the Bulls. But anyways,
Oh, that's a matchup.
It's a pretty good one.
Matchup. If Trae Young's playing, he's been out the past couple games, but
Yeah, I don't know if he is or not, but yeah,
looks like he is back in the lineup.
yeah, good. Man, I gotta decide.
Yeah.
Wait, so this
Who's
is
your
my
fourth team?
my final pick. I gotta decide. So like a part of me wants to say the Clippers, but I don't really like watching the Clippers play that much. But the Thunder, like having their pick, like I'm kind of invested in like hoping that they miss the just hoping that they're as bad as they can be.
Yeah. Is it an
And-
unprotected 2022 from the Clips to the Thunder? Okay.
Yeah. So we get it no matter what. So yeah, I'm hoping that thing can get in the lottery. Let's go. Paul George is out. I mean, don't want injuries, and I don't have anything against Paul George because he got us our own treasure chest. So thanks, buddy, for resigning for 1 year or 4 years, but staying one. I appreciate that. But yeah, with him out and with Kawhi out, that's interesting. But that's not going to be my pick. I'm sorry that I even mentioned him. That is not going to be my pick. It's not who I'm going with. I'm going with Orlando. And the funny thing is, being in Tampa, I can't even watch them on League Pass technically, so I have to go to a bootleg stream to watch them.
Of course, yeah.
You don't have Bally Sports Florida?
No, I don't have Bally Sports Florida, as it turns out. But I do know how my way around the internet, so I can watch their games, no problem. It's no big deal there.
Yeah.
But the thing that I love about them is, one, they're terrible, so it makes me feel better about the Thunder. But they have some fun players too. What's his name? Franz Wagner had a huge game last night at 38, I think, and it was 8 of 10 from 3, I believe. Man, so I mean, they have some fun young guys. That's kind of part of the reason I like them. But it all comes down to Cole Anthony. That guy, talk about, he's the best post-game interview of all time, dude. Like, he is hilarious. Every post-game interview I see of him, like I'm into. So I need him to just be knocking down game winners, so he can just be, because there's a little stretch there that he had a couple hot games and his post games were just amazing. So I need him just to keep putting up like that. And honestly, they need to win more games too, so my Thunder can be below them in the standings. But
didn't Wagner just absolutely give it to Milwaukee? Like, we was yesterday. I just pulled
that's
up
what I'm saying.
38. Yeah.
You got some fun guys, man.
I think he should be in the Rookie of the Year race, obviously, along with Mobley, and I think I'm forgetting somebody, but
he's probably got pretty good value yet. If we're putting down some wagers for Rookie of the Year, I would imagine.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. Big men don't normally win it, though.
Being in
Normally
Orlando, Tim, let me know if you ever want to go to a game. They're pretty cheap, so
yeah, I need to go over. I just need to look at the schedule and pick one to go over. I actually have a buddy that was he stats games, and he hasn't been doing NBA games, but he was over there this week. Actually, did last night, and then I think they play again tomorrow. And so he was texting me like, "Hey, you want some free tickets while I'm over here?" I was like, "Well, you probably should." Like, he texted me yesterday. I was like, "You want free tickets to the game?" I'm like, "Well, it's not that far, but like, I would appreciate it a little bit more of a heads up." But
just to show you how cheap they are, there was a deal that they were getting for like 5 games for $49.
Wow.
Oh wow!
Whoa.
And like 3 of them were lower bowl.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Okay. I'll find a game to go to and I'll hit you up, Yusuf.
Oh
That's
my
cheap,
goodness.
man.
Yeah, I mean, I saw I had that package a couple months. It was November, I think. So I saw a bunch of teams playing, and the one team they beat, funny enough, was the Utah Jazz. And
Mhm.
Cole Anthony went off. I think that's when he had the interview.
That's what that I think that was one of them. I can't remember which one, but there's the one where he was like it was basically like a WWE player. They were like, Cole, you came
Facts.
back and won the game. Facts. Facts. Oh my god, I was dead, dude. I was laughing so hard. Shout out Mo Bamba. That was amazing.
Yeah, they have their own tall duo when they're healthy of Wendell Carter Jr. and Mo Bamba, which has actually been like somewhat successful. They shoot a bunch of threes, surprisingly. But yeah,
Yusuf, who you got for us?
I'm very shocked by your pick. I can't even think right now.
Oh yeah, I knew that was going to throw you off, and that's why I even mentioned the Clippers is just to throw you off the scent because no one is going to see Orlando coming. But dude,
Not at all.
part of it is you like I got to watch other tank teams a little bit so that way I can compare.
Mhm.
And not to say that Orlando's tanking or whatever because they have been in their whole own
They
process.
are definitely taking, yeah.
Yeah, but nevertheless, I like to watch some of these bad teams so that way I can be like, yeah, the Thunder are in pretty good shape actually. But
We
the
gotta watch a
Magic are
Magic
fun.
Thunder game if they haven't
The
already played.
Pistons are the most brutal, dude. I watched some Piston games and oh my god, they're not very
Yeah.
good. Yeah.
Oh, I forgot. Yeah, that's the guy, Cade Cunningham. I mean, I feel like he's putting up stats, but I don't think anybody has him for Rookie of the Year race. I don't know, DJ. You looked at the odds, or
Oh, I did not, but let me take a little look here while you're talking about your team because I wouldn't be surprised if he's up there for sure.
Yeah, Yusuf, who you got with your final pick?
I feel like I'm stealing. But Phoenix. You didn't say that right, DJ.
No, that is we talked about them briefly just because they're one of my squads I drafted, but I did not pick them as one of my own.
Yeah, I mean, Chris Paul is obviously the point guard, and he's just amazing to watch. And Devin Booker, Mikal Bridges, DeAndre Ayton. I feel like I was actually thinking about Phoenix for your stat of like between 16 and 19, but obviously I think Devin Booker's a little bit higher than that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
they get scoring from everywhere. Cam Johnson, even your boy
Mhm.
Cameron Payne comes in, makes a
Campaign.
couple
I
buckets.
like campaign still, man. Yeah, he's kind of fun. He makes it work by just kind of being that lefty, like herky jerky awkwardness, you know, like, and so it's good that he found kind of his niche because he always kind of had moments where you're like, okay, it's weird, but like that could work, and it just wasn't consistent with Oklahoma City. So it's nice that he's found his shot consistently and that he can create a little bit off the dribble, and you know he's a really good backup point guard for him, and to have a championship team that's super important, you know. So that's been a great find. Like you can't undersell how when it comes to playoff time how important how many good minutes he's going to be able to give them. I mean, last playoffs he had some big shots for him and everything like that. So yeah, dude, I'm a campaign fan. Yeah, I
Yeah,
was
they trust
always
him running like pick and roll with Ayton and even
yeah.
McGee sometimes.
Yeah, and then off the ball, I mean, he's gotten his shot where he's a pretty good spot up shooter. I mean, at least average, I'd say, which is key. So he can play off the ball some too, and yeah, man, campaign. What a comeback story! Because I think that we didn't even take his fourth year option. I think we cut him after 3. So yeah, hell yeah, love that.
Yeah, and Phoenix is like, I guess the team that like you want guys that can pass, dribble, and shoot like at
Mhm.
all like 4 or 5 positions, at least 4 out of 5 positions. So I feel like they're like the epitome of that,
Yeah, they play
which
that
every
open
team is trying to
style.
build. Yeah.
Exactly. It's like a lot of ball movement. I mean, obviously they can get a little bit heavy on some stuff with Chris Paul handling the ball or whatnot, but for the most part, they keep it moving. And yeah, it's a very fun, style of basketball, just similar to the Jazz, I'd say. As far as just like keeping you spread and the ball is just kind of flinging around there a little bit and zipping around the perimeter, and they're making shots or layups or it's just beautiful. So great pick. DJ, what do you think?
I mean, there's a reason I picked them number one. Number one overall, number one for myself in the draft. And Yusuf, you were right. I did just a little a little research there. They've got basically, I mean, I'm not going to count Frank Kaminsky because he's only played 9 games, but they have 7 dudes averaging 10 or more points a game, and Jay Crowder right behind at 9. And the last game they showed, it's like the most guys that have like times 6 guys who scored 10 plus or something. Their balance is fantastic. And then, as Ayton and Bridges keep coming into their own to support D-Book and Paul, I mean, they can play against anyone, match up against anyone. And I mean, they're a big reason why. Like, I think that this year, the playoffs, now that they're really have ascended to being just a, stalwart Western Conference team right here, I don't think there's a chance they trip up against anyone in the first round, because for a while it looked like the Lakers might have had their number there. But they're going to be really tough to deal with.
Are they going to be able to keep Ayton after this year, or is he gone?
I mean,
they can match, I guess.
Right. The only
he's restricted, right?
Yeah, he's restricted.
Yeah, the only risk is if you would do the Gordon Hayward, you have to sign like a 4-year deal, but then have a player option so you can leave after another 3. I think that's what happened with Gordon in Utah when Cleveland signed him to the offer sheet.
Yeah, I mean, someone could come in with a weird offer, or even just give them the max that they don't want to do. I mean, do you think that they would match
But the
it?
big deal still is, I believe if he would sign with someone else, they could still only offer him like the 5% raises. So Phoenix can still offer him the best deal.
More money.
It'd probably just be if he's pissed at them that he'd want to leave, quote unquote, which is, would be sticking it to him. But I mean, they would still have at least, I think, 1 more year of, before the tax gets too crazy there. I think you're right, though. It's going to be it's going to be a big time conversation point in the off season until he signs that deal.
How many more years did they give Chris Paul this past summer? Didn't they give him a little extension?
Oh, yes, he did sign one that brought him down to like 30 a
yeah.
year or something for maybe 2 more years after this. I think it was like 3
like
total.
Three for 60 or something. That sounds about right. But that'll be interesting. I mean, that's an off-season conversation, I guess. But
yeah.
But yeah, the team that they're running out this year is pretty loaded. I mean, obviously they went to the championship last year, so
yeah.
Yeah, I was looking at the Rookie of the Year odds, and I was surprised actually. They have Mobley, Cunningham, Barnes, which I forgot about Barnes. He's having a pretty good all around year. And they still have Jalen. These must be old. They still have Jalen Green and Giddey above Wagner.
The ones that I just saw were on Odds Shark that posted today had Franz as 4th, but he was still like a plus 2,000, and then Giddey, I think, was right behind him. And the top ones that you mentioned there, the Cade, Mobley, and Green. No, Barnes, excuse me, right? Scotty Barnes.
Yeah.
Those guys were all up kind of in their own class, and then Franz was kind of the next in line. It's a good value if
Green's not going to win it because he's so inefficient. He's been out too, but he just came back. But he's not going to win it because he's too inefficient and just kind of a clunker. But which is unfortunate because that means the Rockets are going to lose a lot more games. Hate that.
True.
Because their little run that they went on,
not tankathon.
Yeah. Well, sorry, go ahead.
The Rockets, what was their win streak that they had?
They had a good one, but it was without Green though. He was injured that whole time. Yeah.
7-game win streak after like a 10 or 12. I can't. The losses almost fill up the entire ESPN sheet here. My goodness.
Man. But I think that's all I have for you guys today. But I was gonna ask you guys what player do you want from like the mid 2010s to like come back and just take a bench spot, take some shots. I'll start off. I'll give you some guys some time to think. I would love to see Jamal Crawford, obviously, coming off the bench, putting up, doing a little shake and bake. And then there's another guy I was thinking about. Man. Cephalosha, what is he doing?
Ooh, I love Cephalosha. Man, here's a weird one, and this is super bizarre, and this is a very Thunder answer, and he only played a couple years in the league. Eric Maynard.
I hardly even remember that guy. Where did
he was
go
a point guard from VCU.
VCU,
I think he
that's
was
what
in
it
the
was.
was he in the
Mars.
2012 finals? I feel like I remember from that time.
With VCU, I think so. Yeah.
No, with the Thunder. I think he was.
Oh, yeah, he was. So he was the backup point guard, and he was good. Yeah, I think he was on the finals team. Although maybe I can't remember exactly when he blew, like he hurt his knee and he never really came back from it. And I can't remember when that was. It might have been before the finals, but he was like that steady point guard. But the thing that I loved about him, and this is why I say him, is that dude. So first off, it's well documented that Kevin Durant will not shoot the half court heave because he cares about his percentages too much, right? You guys
Right.
know this, right? So
Yep.
Eric Maynard did not care. That dude would let it fly. And I'm telling you, like he hit some really good, like just heaves, or there were a lot of really close ones. And like if you tell me that I could pick any player on the Thunder from that era to shoot the 3/4 court, half court heave, I would pick Eric Maynard 100%. So yeah, let me get him back just shooting half court shots. We don't even have to make it buzzer beaters. Just throw it up.
Yeah.
There's like 10 seconds on the clock. He's still throwing it up.
She's like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "I was open." Yeah, that's my pick. I'm sticking with that one.
Oh, I love it. With in honor of Greg Monroe coming back for Minnesota here, his 2010 NBA draft Class C. I'm making sure that he's nowhere else because I believe he is not. But bring back Evan Turner. Give me a little Evan Turner somewhere in the mix.
Oh, that's a fun one. Yeah, good pick.
I saw Michael Beasley was also trying to. I don't know if he's trying to get some buzz around him. I guess.
Doesn't surprise me. Former T-Wolves legend Beasley. What up?
Yeah, dude. I saw him play. Him and Blake Griffin went back and forth one game whenever he was at K-State. And I think K-State ended up winning. And Beasley had like 40 and Griffin had like 33 or something like that. It was amazing, dude. At that moment, I was like, that guy is great. And it turns out he's a bit of a head case, but yeah, I'd take him back any day.
It's still an all-time funny gif when he's rubbing the guy's knee and he doesn't even realize that it's not even his knee.
Yep, dude. Give me some Michael Beasley back. He's had some other quotes I can't even remember. There's some funny stuff that he's said and done, man. He's a nut. In the best possible way. Although maybe not for some teams. The Thunder would never bring him in. He's not a Thunder guy for sure. The picture that he had wasn't it him that got in a lot of trouble for having a picture of weed on his Instagram? Like it was like in the background on his computer or something. Wasn't that right?
Oh man, I don't remember.
It wasn't. He wasn't the one with the. It was Greg Odom that had the inappropriate photo leak, right?
I think so.
And I guess Jamal Murray too. That was an inappropriate video leak. It was definitely Michael Beasley though. That he, and it was kind of a sad thing too. Is like whenever he was kind of spiraling and he had like some picture and there was just like a bunch of weed in the background and everyone's like, bro, you probably shouldn't have tweeted that. And I think he got suspended over it. It was a whole deal. So he went to China. He came back. Don't worry.
Yeah,
Michael Beasley. He resurrected himself from that. So we're all good.
Dude, some of those players they had so much talent, but like I don't know, like they could score 35 in a game and then they'd get like a DNP.
Yeah. I feel like Beasley and Josh Smith, you could put both those guys on that list.
All right, I think that's all for tonight, guys. Unless you guys have any other names to throw out there.
No, man, that's all I got. Appreciate you having us on, Yusuf. It was fun as always.
Yeah, appreciate you guys coming on, and we'll talk more as the season gets underway. Hopefully, the teams can control some of these COVID protocols and get their. As much as we love those guys, we like to see the teams at full strength, right?
Yeah, I do. I like watching the backups though. If like I said, man, I like these weird random teams. So I kind of do like when you get like the really random squads, but it does make for not the prettiest of basketball sometimes. So it's help for everyone's health for sure.
Yeah, it's fun to see Joe Johnson come in and put like an ISO bucket.
Yeah, there's moments of nostalgia in there for sure. With that one especially.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it coming on the Sports Yak podcast. Subscribe, and we'll put this up on YouTube. You guys can watch the episode. Put the link in the bio, and Thanks guys for listening. We'll see you guys next time.